If you've been editing in Final Cut Pro for any amount of time, you're probably aware of the fact that MotionVFX recently launched City Studio and Design Studio, which is a collection of nearly every one of their plugins. Right now, you can get that subscription for 15% off. So if you're interested in that subscription, make sure you take advantage right now. But this video is made for those of you that don't want to jump to the subscription. If you head over to the MotionVFX store, you will see that you can actually pick up a whole bunch of plugins right now for 30% off, and they all have a perpetual license. Now, to be fully transparent, MotionVFX did agree to sponsor this video, which I'm really grateful for. Huge shout out to them for helping me pay my bills a little bit better, and hopefully you guys can get some awesome plugins for a single one-time purchase. This particular pack makes a lot of vertical content creation that much easier, and that is mShorts. You'll find mShorts up in your titles, and you'll notice that I just have an enormous collection of animations and templates and effects that I can use really easily for my vertical videos. So let's take a quick look at maybe Avatar 17. I'll add that down to the timeline. And if we push play, we can see we have this really dynamically animated avatar, which we can very easily move around the screen. You can rotate it as you need. And then taking a look here on the right side, you'll notice that we have a whole lot more options to play around with. For example, we could change our text, Final Cut Bro. We could scale down that text a bit. You can of course change the font on that. Maybe you have somebody leaving a comment on your video. This is a great way to showcase that, and you can see that I have all of the same options to change here. So for example, we could say use code FINAL for 30% off at checkout. And you can of course change who's saying that. So Dylan Bates, the Final Cut Bro, says that. And then you'll also see that there's this drop zone, which makes it really easy to swap that image out. So let's just head over to our drop zone, and I'll select this image of me. Then we can go ahead and scale that down so it fits within that circle. And a quick pro tip for Final Cut Pro users, you can actually just double click directly on the drop zone to move it around. So that's kind of handy as well. And now it looks like I'm commenting this in my video. And again, it's all designed for vertical, but it should be known that you can totally use this on a regular 16:9 timeline as well. So I really like that. Let's take a look at some of these other animations they've got going on here. For example, they've got a nice shop now animation, call to action. You can see it's kind of blinking, which is super cool, and you could have that change to say whatever you want. Look at all the customization that you've got going on here. Let's try another animation. Do you want more? Yes or no? We could just move this over to the right-hand side. We could change all of the colors, and it really looks so good out of the box, so that's incredible. Maybe we'll make it a little bit more blue. And again, that's just very dynamic. Maybe we want to trick people into liking the video. Drop that in. Look at this little like animation, which looks super nice. Wow, it even showcases the dislikes. So this has more functionality than YouTube itself. Scrolling further down, they have a lot of elements. So I like this kind of particle element going on the screen. This looks really cool and professional. We can change the colors on these different pieces. So maybe we want some of them to be black. We could also add a drop shadow to all of them. So that's really cool. Let's also check out this element 09. It's kind of this pulsing red backdrop, which I think looks really cool. We can change the color of that, so let's just get it to be blue so they show up a little bit more against this backdrop. We can change the dot scale randomness, so you got some that are a little bit larger than others. We can scale them up. Really, really cool stuff going on. We could even change them to have like an overlay blend mode, which looks really nice. So lots of cool arrow animations. So this one's pointing up like, hey, swipe up. And you'll notice that wherever I place this, it still animates from off the screen to that position, which is a nice little attention to detail. Let's try some of these frames out. Oh, that looks really cool. It's kind of a rounded frame, which is really nice. You can rotate it. So you could actually use this to kind of create an interesting slash in your video, which is cool. That looks really dynamic and nice. Let's try this frame and drop zone 5. Oh, that looks so cool. It's essentially kind of a call out, and it blurs the background, and then you have control over the width and the height. That looks so cool. You can change the pricing up here if you wanted to. We could also take a look here at the duotones. So let's drop in duotones underneath that, and now we've completely shifted the aesthetic of this. It's got this nice blue and red. We could change this over to kind of a green red, which looks cool. We can change the intensity on that. And then there's also a threshold slider. So if you want to like really make it crunchy, that's a great way to do that. Let's also take a look here at the gradient light. So this is giving us this nice gradient glow here at the bottom, and that just looks so elegant. And you'll see how professional all of this looks in just a couple clicks, which is one reason why MotionVFX is just so dang good. But next, I want to add some more stylized content to my videos, and so that is where mStyle VCR is going to come into play. mStyle VCR can be located up here inside of your titles, and you can also find it down here inside of your transitions. So let's take a quick look at some of these transitions. For example, we could try fast forward, which I really like, and let's drop that in and press play. That's just such a cool transition, and there's a lot you can do actually to customize this. So maybe we want to change the static color to more of a blue. We could increase the distortion amount by quite a lot, distortion range. We could even change the direction on the distortion. We could add some more prisms. Let's take the transmission to a cut, and that just looks really, really cool. We could change the brightness on that transition so it actually gets darker. Let's take a look at this roll transition next. I love how that one looks, very cool. So that's just a look at some of the transitions, but there's also a whole bunch of titles which can essentially be used as effects. For example, if we take a look over here, maybe we want that distortion effect to last over the entire duration of the video. So this is a great way to do that. You can drag this out for as long as you want, and then you can come over here, change the distortion amounts and ranges and directions and all that stuff, add some prism in. You could change the color on the highlights. Let's also try this interlace effect, and you'll see how that kind of degrades the look of our video in a super interesting way. It looks very interlacey like old camcorders, so I really love that. Maybe you want to add in a little tape roll. Let's try that. There's a quick tape roll. You can change the speed on that. So you could crank this up a ton and then shorten the duration if you wanted just a quick glitch like that. You could also drop in this viewfinder, which is super fun. So it looks kind of like we're looking through a camera viewfinder. You can change the scale on that very easily. You could rotate it. So if you just wanted this to be in part of your image like that, you could do so. You could change the content blending, so just make it normal if you wanted to. And then there's, of course, like film dirt, which is just a great way to add some grain into your videos. Drop in some glitches. I love the doors that this opens up for style. It really makes your videos feel tactile. But on top of that, they added some cool typography. This tag is really cool. I just love the simplicity of it. So let's just crank up the scale on that. But what's cool about this is, let's say I want to type in subscribe, and you'll notice that the box scale changes according to whatever word I type in. And then there's also that secondary word. Let's go ahead and grab a power, change that to say and like. And so you'll see how that kind of cuts out a section in the title depending on how long the text is. So that looks really, really cool. Really love that. And I love the in and out animations it comes with. We could take a look at the micro description, which is kind of fun. It gives you that style up here in the top left. I'm just a sucker for this stuff. That's all I gotta say. So whether you like it or not, that's up to you, but I really like this stuff. I think it's super cool. I think it's totally worth picking up, especially for 30% off. And so that brings me on to the last pack that you definitely got to check out with this sale, and that is mTransition Mega Pack. There's like over 130 transitions with one of these packs, so absolutely worth it. Let's just blitz through a whole bunch of these. Let's try the very first one on the list, push play and see how that looks. Oh, that is so cool. I love the style and the color that has. Let's try changing some of the gradient colors here. Can make it more red to match our branding. Red and blue looks kind of like a cop show or something. You could also change the text on this. So let's just try hello, goodbye. And then if we push play, let's see what that looks. Yeah, so you can see it kind of jumps between the two texts. So that's very, very cool. Let's try mTransition Mega Pack 3. This one I'm very fond of. I love the softness that this brings. It's a really elegant transition. Let's try mTransition Mega Pack 5. Kind of a fun whip transition. Let's scroll a little further down. Let's try some of these. Maybe 27. Again, just like a completely different look for this transition. Keep on scrolling. Let's try 40. Oh, that is so cool. Very unique. Really, really, really like that one. And then there's also these frames, which I think these are cool. This one's great if you have a smartphone. I've used this actually before. Number 52. So it just makes it look like we're kind of going into an iPhone, which is really, really cool. let's check out some of these graphical transitions. This is number 75. That's super fun. Now, number 76 in this transition pack is one of my absolute favorites from any transition pack ever. I don't know why, I just vibe with it so hard, but it looks so good. Basically, you can drop in any logo that you like, and let's go ahead and select that transition, and we'll swap it for this Final Cut Pro logo. Now, it's going to be kind of hard to tell what's going on, so let's just drop the scale of the logo, and let's also drag up the logo source opacity. And then you can also change stuff like the stecco depth and stuff. That's totally up to you. So here, I'll drag up the stecco depth. I mean, it just so cool. This would really drive your branding home. This is going to make people subscribe no matter what. They're just instantly, they're going to see this. They're going to be like, bro, this guy has a sweet logo animation. Instant subscribe. That's so few of the transitions in the mega pack. But if I showed you everything that this pack had, we would be here for a decade. So make sure you check out that pack. Very incredible. Again, these are a perpetual license. You purchase it once, you own it forever. Now is a great time to snag them before they are gone. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to hang out with me and watch this video. And I cannot wait to see you in the next one.